approach. And what we use here at Intelliplan Financial is we call it a bucket philosophy. And here's how it works. Hey everyone, Joe here from Intelliplan Financial. Today we're going to talk about ways that we can recession-proof your retirement. And I've got 5 different ways you can do this. So the first thing is, number 1, is understanding the importance of diversifying your assets. Now, some people can hear that and think, oh, that's pretty simple. We just separate from 60-40 portfolio, go equities, go bonds. That's the traditional strategy, but what you also want to think about is different investment and asset classes. So when you think about the different investments, if you're thinking about recessions, you never know what the economy is going to throw at us. When we retire, we may be retiring through 25, 30 years of retirement. So the economy and the environment can go through very different things through that period. By understanding the importance and diversifying not just the assets, but also diversifying asset classes, then there are ways you can protect yourself no matter what the economy throws at us. Now, step number 2, and this also ties into not only diversifying the assets, but you want to diversify your approach. And what we use here at Intelliplan Financial is we call it a bucket philosophy. And here's how it works. There are 3 buckets. The first one is what we call the now bucket. The second one is the soon bucket. And the third is what we will call the later bucket. Now, the purpose of these buckets is we can align our assets due to our time horizons and when we're going to need those funds. So for example, the now bucket, you should have enough cash or assets in the now bucket that is going to cover your expenses for anywhere from 1 to 2 years. This is money, I like to say, it's in the bank. It's security. It helps us sleep at night. It's our emergency fund. Okay, we don't have to sell off assets or investments just to get this cash when something comes up. Okay, now secondly, we have the soon bucket. Now the soon bucket is where these are the funds that we're planning to use over maybe 5 to 10 years later into our retirement years. So in this particular bucket, our investments, they should be invested conservatively, but we also want to be trying to earn a reasonable rate of return on this portion of our assets. And then lastly, we have the later bucket. Now, the later bucket is designed for investments that we don't need until maybe 20, 25 years later into our retirement years. So these are the last funds that we want to use in our retirement. So what that means is we can be a little riskier and try to earn a higher rate of return in that scenario, because let's say if we have a market downturn, we don't have to stress, we don't have to worry, because those are the funds that will have plenty of time to rebuild themselves for our later use into our retirement years. So this is how you protect yourself, by having your assets aligned in those 3 different buckets. Now, another option to think about here is don't forget about taxes. There's not a one of us that can control whether our tax rates are going to go up or going to go down. And it always seems to be decided by who is in office. So we can't control that. In addition to diversifying those assets, we also need to be diversified from a tax management perspective. So that means we also need to have assets that are invested into some type of tax-free vehicle. That could be like a Roth IRA, or that could be life insurance. Okay. Now, a 4th tip here is don't put yourself in a position where you have to withdraw from those retirement accounts. There's a dirty word out there, I like to call it, as it's called the sequence of returns. And what that does is when we have a down market and you're withdrawing income, not only does the account drop by the amount you withdrew, but it amounts by the percentage loss that you've taken. So those funds are going to take a lot longer to recover. So you want to make sure that you're keeping that in mind and have other vehicles to pull from in a down year or a down market. Okay. And then number 5 is you really want to use a financial advisor's help in making these decisions. How do we align these assets? Which assets should we plan on using in the early years of our retirement? Which assets should we use in the later years? Okay, there is a true strategy in how we align these assets. And if you're not familiar with it, this is again why you want to work with an advisor. So in conclusion here, there's a lot of things you want to take into account that can protect yourself in your retirement so that when markets drop, you don't have to stress and you don't have to worry. So if you need some help organizing those assets, that's what we do. You can reach out to us on our website at Intelliplan Financial, and we're here and happy to help you. So hope this gave you some good information. Appreciate your time and enjoy the rest of your day.